Hello, dear. You are on the Jayman Show, which is on WBCA 102.9 FM, Boston local community radio station. I'm your host, Jaiye Bynoe, and my guest today is Nicole Anthony. Hi, Nicole. Well, good to see you on the show today.
Hi, good to see you too, and nice to see the visitors.
Absolutely. We're also glad to have you on the show today. We're also big fans of your work, and so wonderful
Oh,
to have.
thank you.
Okay, so I guess I'll start by asking how you got started, in the entertainment field as an actress.
Yeah, of course. A lot of the friends I've made in acting, actors and actresses alike, often will say they knew at 5 years old or they started really young, as a child or a teenager, but I actually started it as my second career. So I worked in politics and economics prior to this. So I don't know if many people know that, but I think one of the benefits of working in that area actually grounded me so much that I really knew who I was before I chose to be an actor. And because I knew as an adult, I'm choosing to be an actor, it was a huge decision. And I went full force into it. And yeah, I haven't looked back. I'm really happy and proud to have chosen this as a career. Yeah.
Absolutely. And because I saw you in the movie, the Christmas Packer Farm with Kyla Pratt, who was one of the actors, I love her, from the Part Family and One-on-One. So, yeah.
That's right. Yeah, Kyla is incredible. She is a force on set. She's super dynamic, really vivacious. What you see on the Christmas Pact is exactly what Kyla's like in real life. I remember shooting that movie actually, and we shot that in Vancouver on location here, and it was so hot. But Kyla was super gracious, and she and I had many long conversations about hair because, as you know, in that movie we have a lot of flashbacks. So, we had a lot of different hairstyles and great costumes, and yeah, she was wonderful.
Yeah, she definitely seems like one of a person. I'm such a huge fan of her. So I'd love to meet her someday.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So a little bit more about how I got into acting, actually. I made the choice because, as you probably can imagine, I was working in the public service, running government programs, and all of that was very fulfilling for a long time for me. But I needed a break. So I actually got invited to a wedding in Las Vegas. And I went to see the Phantom of the Opera there, which is one of my favorite musicals, and it inspired me. I remember sitting after the whole performance, just being stunned, blown away by the pyrotechnics and the characters and the costumes and the transitions that they made. It was, and I knew the musical before, but it was just so shocking to me that I wasn't up there doing that very same thing, and feeling that feeling that they gave to me. And I wanted to do that for other people. So when I got back home, I said, let me throw myself into community theater and see what groups I can join, whoever will have me. And I loved it so much part-time and like as a hobby that I decided I would go back to school. So I went to the American Academy of Dramatic Arts in Los Angeles, and the story was written from there.
And that's wonderful to hear because I'm actually in school, I'm actually in school myself. I'm going to Suffolk University trying to get my major in film and media production. So,
well done! That's incredible. Yeah.
I'm also trying to be an actor myself. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Oh, that's amazing. Oh, I wish you every success. Yeah, it's a very interesting time, to be an actor because I'm not sure if you had gone out for auditions before COVID and the pandemic and all the lockdowns and all that situation, but it's so different now. I think in some ways there's actually more opportunities for people who haven't necessarily broken in yet, because you can audition worldwide essentially, and I know there's obviously travel restrictions and all of that, but I think that production companies and studios are more willing to see a broader net of people, and that's fantastic, Yeah.
Yeah, I was actually in a movie called What's That Happened with Martin Lawrence.
Oh my gosh.
I was an extra in that, so that was good. And I was also an extra in a Kevin James movie, Here Comes the Boom. So
I know this one. Yeah. Oh, that's great. I'll have to rewatch and look for you.
Yeah. So Yeah.
I
So,
think that background work is a wonderful, wonderful way to get in, especially for new actors or people who are like me, like I was, who were starting from a different place in their life. You know, someone who didn't know that that's what they wanted to do at first and maybe came to it late teens, early 20s, mid 20s, and beyond, you know?
mhm.
I actually did some really fun background work very early on in my career. I haven't even been doing it for a decade yet. And I've had so much fun so far. One of the best memories I have was being on the Star Trek Beyond set
Oh, wow.
and just watching all those powerhouses, you know, Chris Pine and Zoe Saldana, who is a role model of mine. I love her to death. And, you know, just watching those people work and seeing the technique it takes to work in such big movies of that particular kind. You know, it really takes special technique to stay grounded. And it was amazing to do that background work. And I made a pact with one of the other background actors. I said, let's do this. You know, let's get in a Star Trek movie or a Star Trek series. And luckily enough, there are many series going on right now, many projects, even voiceover projects, you know, for animated series. So one day my time will come.
Yeah. Yeah. I definitely agree, you know. And yeah, because I think it's important to have these, you know, conventions where we can meet people like yourself, you know, and work together and help each other's dreams come true. I definitely agree. It's good to have. And it's
Yeah,
all,
absolutely. That's the name of the game, you know, it's connecting to other people.
mhm.
I think some people sometimes forget, you know, that it's not an individual game. It's definitely about the connections that you make with the other people on set in the moment, you know, and that's when stories really come to life, you know, and if you can reach across the film barrier and the TV barrier, you know, or streaming barrier as it is right now, and reach into the audience and really, you know, grab them with the sentimental emotion or the comedy or whatever it is you're trying to convey, you know, that's special. And I think if you want to do that in life, I think that's an incredible mantle to carry, you know?
Yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah.
I couldn't say better myself. I definitely applaud you for that. Yeah, because I actually started as an intern at Boston Neighborhood Network. I working back behind the camera, on the camera, work on the soundboard, producing shows, get my own.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I've,
Those are excellent skills. Yeah. Not too many people start with those kinds of skills.
yeah. So I think it's definitely helped me to get to where I want to be, where I want to be right now. Thank God from Wall Street Community College, get my associate's degree now, try and go get my bachelor's degree. So I can have some far background. So I think that's definitely where to go to be in the business, you know.
Right. No, that's incredibly smart. And I think, you know, nowadays more than ever, we're having it's sort of a gig economy. You know, you have to do not only the main thing that you're looking to manifest, make that dream come true, but you're also doing, you know, 2 3 other things at the same time, and they're all things that you love, all passions that you have, you know, and some of them are smaller than others, but I think that's just the reality now, you know, that we're all sort of wearing different hats, you know. Yeah.
Definitely agree. Yeah. So how did COVID affect you? If it being shut down, how did that affect you?
Well, I think for everyone, it was a very anxious time, you
Hmm.
know, and I think for me, it made me realize just how important my family was to me, and that no matter how busy I get with work, as fulfilling as that is, and how much I consider those people my family as well, I think, you know, those people are very close to me, and you spend long hours working on TV or film projects and voiceover too. I think it just reframed for me that it's about those moments that I'm creating and sharing with my family members. And they're very simple moments too, you know, just making sure that you cook the family dinners and, you know, and you tidy the house, and even just simple moments like that to remember to connect to the people around me. That was really important to me, you know, and I was lucky enough to be able to weather all of that without too much, you know, grief. I didn't lose anyone close to me, and I'm so lucky. And you know what's interesting about being an actor at this time is that I portray a lot of nurses,
Yes.
medical professionals, you know, people who are at all different ranges of their careers, like people who are newbies, you know, from Altered Carbon, where I played a trainee in the medical field, all the way to doctors who have had years of experience. Well, it really, even though we're playing on screen and I'm pretending, I do a lot of research in order to back up my characters and make sure that I know what I'm talking about when I'm using medical jargon, etc. And it just made me appreciate those people who were working so hard and still are, who gave us so much. And it made me really grateful. Yeah.
Well, that's wonderful to hear. That's definitely good as well to do your research on what your character is about. I definitely bring to life, if people ever been a center of what you're portraying, I definitely agree, I respect you for that. That's what all actors should do. They should, research through the play and find information about them, and from people, so it can bring the character to life, I definitely agree.
That's right. I think the more you ground it in reality, the more that people want to know more about the person that you're portraying. And sometimes, I think people they're surprised by what they feel in response to you. So, it's not just about portraying what we know on the outside. It's also trying to bring to life this person as a real person, someone who has a depth to them, like learning from the greats, people like Andy McDowell and Chris O'Dowd and Christina Ricci and stuff. What they bring is something, it's not just the frame of the person. It's not just the outline of the person. When you see them, when you get a chance on set, you need to, open those eyes and open those ears and really listen and watch and try to not have too many expectations about what you think those famous people, are going to be like, because man, it's a masterclass every time. They really draw not only from themselves, but the experiences they've had. And you can really see that, and so many of them are there for that reason, because they're able to really fill in those dimensions of a given person that they're playing,
Absolutely, because I actually met Christina Ricci in Boston. She was so nice to me. We had a good talk, took a picture. We took a picture together. She was wonderful. We had a good talk about my acting career. Yeah, she was down to earth. I love her. Christina Ricci, she's one of my favorite actresses.
Yeah, she's one of my favorites too. Christina is a real class act. Like she's in an interesting place in her career too. She was so popular as a kid, and I think she's talked a lot about this in various interviews, and probably to you as well, that that really sort of it transformed her experience as a child and as a teenager, and really colored that in a very specific way. And she got seen a specific way, and I think as actors, we sometimes get pigeonholed into a certain type of role, a certain type of tone. And, for her, it was horror. And now on the other side of that, as she's sort of, coming back into her career in a bigger way again, after having her new family, she is really embracing that horror background and that psychological thriller aspect to things, that she brings out. And she's just clearly accepted that. And I think that's important. You're not only trying to convey, you can't convey every character. You can only convey what is within you and what is within your experience. At least that's my perspective. Other actors have different perspectives, but I think that's when you're at your best,
I definitely agree, because once you see your best, that you're stepped your game, the research, I definitely, and you and Christina both some wonderful actresses, And I also saw that you on Big Brother. Big Brother.
Oh, well, this is hilarious, because there's more than one Nicole Anthony in the world. Okay. And so actually, I just recently started chatting with the Nicole Anthony from Big Brother, and she is lovely. I mean, as you all know, we get a window into people in reality TV that you don't get in film and TV, and she is so hilarious and really easygoing and super down to earth. And it's been a pleasure actually getting to know her. We do want to plan a meetup at some point, but I don't know when that's going to happen, because schedules are so odd, and obviously travel is kind of difficult at this point. But yeah, I think she's doing Hearts for Reality in Florida in December. Yeah, so I'm very excited to see that. It's going to be great.
I love hearing that, seeing that too. Yeah. So what inspires you? What gives you inspiration and hope to do what you do?
My inspiration is, I think, it really comes from my background. I actually grew up in the Caribbean, in a small island nation of Antigua and Barbuda. You can look it up. Very tiny. And I think seeing other people, even though it wasn't my childhood dream to be an actor, I think seeing other people perform all the time in various aspects, and being encouraged to do so myself. I was always part of choir. and always active in the church. And I was in dance and always, preparing for carnival season and, all sorts of things, spoken word, all sorts of things. I even took drama classes at that point as well, but I never took them seriously, Yeah. And I think because I was encouraged to perform in that way as part of the community, and nobody ever mocked you, nobody ever laughed, people expected you to perform. It was so encouraging and so lively that by the time I got to North America, which of course, I was exposed to American and Canadian culture and European culture. I have family from everywhere, but I wasn't afraid. And so after I decided to leave my chosen career, I think what inspired me was realizing that I can tell stories in a different way from what I was trying to do. I was trying to influence other people to think about this from a different angle. And I realized it doesn't have to be in government where I was working at the time. It could be in acting. And that was so freeing. And, and I think that's a fundamental thing that we all want as human beings. We all want to be as free as possible. And acting really allows me to do that. Strangely enough, even though you're within the rubric of a script and you have a director, or sometimes, multiple directors, or you have producers, and you've got to make sure you bring things in on time. And there's a lot of people reviewing your work. And then of course you have your cast, and sometimes you're the lead and sometimes you're not, and everything changes. But I find enormous freedom in that, to be able to reach people. And I hope that I do that. I hope that comes across on screen in the various roles I've played.
Well, yeah, you definitely reached me, inspired me, so you're definitely a wonderful actress, and I respect you, and I'm glad you told me your story. This is wonderful to hear. And
thank you.
Definitely, because I think our artists have a responsibility to tell people, so yeah, and we work together, we can definitely go far. Definitely appreciate it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's in sharing our stories that we understand we're all vulnerable, and that we all have wounds, and we all have strengths, and it's not about being everything all the time. And I think that's a really obvious lesson, but it's not necessarily that easy to understand, but as you get older, you start to understand that it's okay to just be that one thing to somebody for that one moment, or it's okay to need help and to ask for it. And I think that a lot of the characters that I portray, whether it be in sci-fi or, some adventure series, or even in animated series, like with Super Monsters, where I play Zoe Walker, I think actually very clearly in series like that, it's obvious that it's all about the team of people around you, who's playing around you, who are your influences, and what strength can you draw upon to contribute to the group.
I definitely agree. I certainly agree. That's fun. But yeah. So what do you like to do for fun when you're not working or filming? What do you like to do for fun travel?
Oh, wow. Okay. So for fun, I actually really enjoy listening to jazz music.
Oh, wow.
I love reading historical fiction. I particularly love anything with a Regency theme, which I know is probably very cliche at this point. Bridgerton was a very popular series last year, probably still is with a lot of people, but I absolutely love that. Jane Austen is my favorite author of all time. So I go back to her stories a lot, and anything to do with that kind of period of time I love. I also run as well on the side. I do cycling. I like to get outside when it's warm. Right now it's a bit chilly where I am, and a bit rainy, but yeah, when I can, I like to get outside. And I love jump rope. That's one of my favorite things to do.
Okay, that's awesome, because like you said, I love the hot weather too. I'm not a fan of the cold weather right now, so right now I'm in Boston, so it's a little cold today.
Yeah, that East Coast weather is really something.
Yeah, I don't like the snow, so I'm trying to come out and move to California and Florida, or either way, so I can get out, because this weather's not going to, it's not.
Oh, I know. If I can stay in LA as long as possible, I do.
I definitely understand. Are you in California right now?
Not right now. I'm actually in Vancouver shooting right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Okay, so I give out score now. Okay.
Yeah.
I definitely understand. Okay.
I'm quite pale, as you can see.
I see. Wow. Okay. So where do you see yourself, yourself years from now? Still acting it years from down the line?
Oh, that's a really good question. What's interesting about the pandemic, which I didn't
Mhm.
touch on earlier, but it, I think, made a lot of people question what they were doing, why they were doing it.
Yeah.
And the fact that I came to acting so much later than most people, I was very clear. I came in with a specific set of ideas about what I wanted to achieve, a sense of integrity. And it's not to say that other people don't have that, but because I was older, it was easier for me, I think, to maintain that sense of integrity about the projects that I was choosing, who I wanted to work with, and my principles going in, because the industry is full of an array of different types of interests and people. And so you need to keep your guard up. Um, and during the pandemic, I think at my darkest time, I was questioning whether it was something I even wanted to continue doing, and I know a lot of people, maybe they weren't having necessarily as dark a time as I was at that moment, but I think a lot of people were choosing to expand their families, have new babies come into the world. And I thought that was a really beautiful choice.
Mhm.
And I just couldn't see it for myself. But in terms of acting, I've really come around now that we're sort of seeing not necessarily the end of this, but I think we're no longer in the darkest time, at least where I am and the people that I know. There are still people in the world who are dealing with a lot of that. We have other things that we're facing too, climate change and all of that. But in terms of my personal life, I really want to continue acting. I want to work with the greats. I really want to work with Viola Davis at some point. Denzel Washington is still on my list.
Yeah. Me too.
Right? And there are so many other greats. And I think one of the best pieces of advice that I got from someone I worked with on Child's Play, actually, Brian Tyree Henry. He's in Marvel's Eternals right now. He gave me the best piece of advice that I will keep in my heart and going forward in the next few years as I keep acting and keep rising, in terms of the career ladder here. He said to me, Nicole, when you get a seat at that table, remember, you earned that.
Yes.
You don't have to be afraid anymore. You don't have to prove anything to anyone anymore. You did it. So go forward on that basis. And I will keep those words in my heart forever. He was a wonderful person, by the way. He is a wonderful person. And that renewed spirit is what I'm carrying going forward in the next few years. And I just want to keep going with projects. I would love to be in a Star Trek film. That's one of my all-time favorites as well. I love the original series and The Next Generation, and I love the sci-fi world. I think just thinking beyond the boundaries that we have, as much as I love the planet, nature, that's one of the things I like to do in my spare time too, take photos of nature. I love thinking about what's possible. I love watching any videos about space, planets. Today I was watching a video about neutron stars. I just think it's fascinating. And I would love to be in that kind of a program, a show, a series, another greats that I want to work with is Sir Patrick Stewart.
Yeah.
I think that would be an incredible experience. And he would be very generous, is my feeling,
I agree. Those are some wonderful people to work with, Denzel Washington, Viola Davis, who I look up to and respect, I definitely agree, and I know you'll get that. I can tell you're going to get the raw going to get to have that seat at the table because we work hard for us, work hard, we work at the table together. That's those are some good words that inspire me as well, those words.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Yeah. I think we have to inspire each other.
Yeah.
I think that if you haven't decided yet, I think you should not hold back, and I say that not just to you, but to your listeners and to anyone who might hear these words. I think now's the time. Now's the time for you to not hold back and take the risks that you think you can take that will help you get your dreams, and tell people about it. Tell people about what you want to achieve, because if you do, you'd be surprised. Most people want to help you,
Yeah.
and they will do what they can to help you or connect you to someone who can. And I think the more we can really realize that, the more of our dreams will come true.
I definitely agree. That's why I decided to go watch Suffolk University, work at council, help me work on sets, work at radio stations, intern there. I definitely agree. I'm gonna go for my dreams, like you said, and just reach for the sky. Because I think that's everybody should do that. We should reach for the sky. Don't know nobody to stop. Don't know anybody to stop you. Tell you can't do something. You can do anything you want to do. As long as you work hard and believe in God, you can.
That's right.
You can achieve it, and that's what my mom says. That's what I'll make sure I live by, and help you live by that too, because that's very important for everybody here. People help you, because people will help you. If you ask for help, people should help you. Help us. I definitely agree.
That's right. God put us on this earth to help each other, and through us, He works. And I think we have to trust that. That's faith. Yeah. So yeah, I think your mother has told you some beautiful words there.
She did. She was definitely a wonderful mother. I miss her very much.
Yeah.
So she was definitely a woman of God. So I definitely miss her every day. Yes. And yeah. Wow. So what is it like to be famous? A famous actress. I mean, because I see you on TV, and like I'm like, wow, this one smart. This one smart business weapon make her dream come true,
Well, thank you for that. That is a very kind statement. Really generous of you to say that. Do I feel famous? I see you nodding, so I'm guessing people do reach out to me a lot, especially on certain projects. I have a lot of moms and dads who reach out about Super Monsters, about my portrayal of a smart and bright and artistic little Black girl, and just how proud they are to see that, to see her own her confidence as her little girl self and then her monster self. Yeah. And the stories are so beautiful, and there's always a lovely, lovely lesson in there for the kids. So I'm super proud of that work. And people reach out to me about Child's Play as well, because it's such a favorite, among people who love horror films and people who love psychological thrillers and people who just love Chucky. Yeah. And, I got to play a character that was added to such an iconic universe. And it's a popular franchise. I mean, they've started a new series as well. So, people reach out to me all the time and ask me for, advice, and ask me for little tidbits and factoids about what it was like to work with people. And I'm really grateful to people for reaching out to me and thinking, that I'm accessible, that it's okay to reach out to me. And I think that's lovely that, for all intents and purposes, famous it's handleable for me at this point. But, I think it can get to a point where it's overwhelming. Mm-hmm. And I'm lucky to be at a point where, I can still walk around, I can still shop, and be seen. And not many people recognize me just from the physical appearance, where I am usually. So it's quite lovely. I get the benefit of being recognized and being approached online mostly, and at signings and all of that, but not so much in person. And I really, really adore that experience, because people are so generous. They just want to wish you well. And I do too. And we just have these lovely moments, of recognition and a little laugh. And I think that's important, not just take things too seriously, fame included, or being recognized included, as you get bigger in the world of celebrity, just to remember that you're still human, and that you need time off, and that you need to be playful and experience life from the not so serious side.
Yes.
Yeah.
I definitely agree, because I'm so glad you actually responded to me come on my show. It was a blessing, because most stars don't do that, but the way you actually responded is like a blessing. I'm really
Oh, well, you're welcome. No, I was excited to get your request. Yeah, no, it was great. I'm really glad that you reached out, you know. I love doing these kinds of podcasts and interviews because they're just so casual, so comfortable, you know, and I know that they they can go reach quite far and wide, but at the same time it feels really close and, you know, like I'm talking to a friend. And that's why I love this and I really appreciate that you reached out. Yeah.
absolutely. So what do you have in store? Are there any more films in store in your company? More what projects you're working on?
I'm actually working right now on a video game,
Okay.
which I can't really talk about too much. But I will say, for all those people who love my work on Child's Play and anything sci-fi, keep an eye out for it. I'll post about it, and it's going to be a psychological thriller. And I'm really excited because it's a type of work that I have not really delved into yet. So I got to experience a lot of technology in the work for this video game that I had never experienced before, and it was a blast. You know, these people really knew what they know what they're doing. So I'm really excited to share that. I also have some work that I did on Polly Pocket for all the families out there, to look out for some work on the Polly Pocket series. So you should check that out.
Okay. Absolutely. Are you doing any special for holidays? Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's? Any plans for the holidays?
You know, I'm going to be working right up to the week of Christmas.
Okay.
So not a lot planned. I do hope that I get to see my little nephew. We're hoping that he can fly in. I'm not sure. We'll see. But I really want to see him. He's in the best age right now. He's going to be 8 actually at the end of this month. And he is just a little force on the planet, and I just love interacting with him so much. You know, there's so much life in him, so much anticipation, and everything is new. So we play video games together, and you know, we play and we run around, and yeah. So I'm really hoping to see him for Christmas.
Me too. I hope you have a wonderful Christmas. Yeah, and Happy New Year. Yeah.
Thank you. You too.
And I guess my question is how can we support you? How can we support you? How can we support you and make you more I guess well known out there?
Oh, wow. Well, you can check me out and follow me on Instagram. I'm at the Nicole Anthony. Even though there are many Nicole Anthonys, I am the Nicole Anthony.
Okay.
You can also follow me on Twitter at Miss Nicole Anthony, MS Nicole Anthony. Yeah.
Okay. And do you think you might come to Boston for a Comic convention or make a
Oh my goodness. I would love that. I would dress up. I promise. I would dress up as Zoe, half Zoe and half Chucky.
Because I would love to meet you in Boston if you come to Boston someday. You know?
I would love that. Yes, absolutely. Hopefully we'll be able to make that happen soon. Yeah.
As always, welcome on my show, and love to have you. Love to have you for dinner to meet my family. You know, so you know,
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, how generous. Thank you.
You know, just you know. Okay, so I guess my last question for you is what do you think we can do to make the world better, to change the world, to make the world better for the next generation? You know, for all this, with all this hate, you know, wasting around, what can we do to try and change the world? Because the world is so crazy right now. You know, so.
You're right. The world is crazy, but that's if you look at it one way.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm talking to you.
Mm-hmm.
This moment is wonderful. It's lovely. And I feel a heart-to-heart connection. And that is how we can change the world. I really do feel that. I feel that if we take the time to really look at each other, listen to each other in each moment, which is so simplistic sounding, and yet it's really difficult to do, you know, and it takes a lot of energy and effort to actually do that, more than you think. Mm-hmm. You know, if we did that, then the things that are going wrong could possibly be course corrected. we could possibly correct those things, turn the ship away from the trajectory that it's going in, because we would be slowing down our efforts to connect to each other. And in that way, really listening to what we really want. I think if you go any bigger than that with what could be done to change the world, I think you're making it very complicated, and you'll probably lose people really quickly. I think it takes a moment by moment decision to really care about the neighbor in front of you. Yeah.
I definitely agree. That's that way touched my heart, inspired me. I definitely appreciate that. It meant a lot to me. Because what, if we all do that together, we can hopefully get some more sense of normalcy. I definitely agree.
I agree. Yeah, it would be nice to see some of those things happening in the world not happening anymore, and not feel so powerless that things are out of control, in all sorts of places and for a lot of people. Yeah, it would be really nice to not have to feel that way. So, that's what I try to practice in my own life. I try to practice slowing things down, because it's very easy. And like I said, at the beginning of the pandemic, I fell into a tunnel of anxiety and agitation, and that serves no one. And it stops you from being able to hear your own intuition and hear what God has to say to you. So you stop being able to hear those things. You stop being able to let God work through you. So if you can stop and listen and look at the person in front of you, even if it's just yourself, really take notice of what's going on with you, slow it down a little bit. That's how I feel. But, that's probably because I'm a little bit older. I think, a 20-year-old might say, no, we have to do something right now. And I appreciate that too, because action is also necessary. But for me, it's a case of, I need to know that action is going to be well received and actually going to be able to accomplish the outcome that I want. So, I'm a Taurus. So we like to know where we're going. Once we've decided, we're very loyal and we will get it done. But we need to know ahead of time, we need to have that stability to know where we're going.
I definitely agree, because I'm a Taurus also, so May 8th.
Are you? Oh, wow.
So both the same, but I definitely agree, and I feel connected to you already, so I definitely, everything you're saying is so inspiring and touching to me, and I can.
Oh, thank you. That's kind. Thank you.
Thank you. It's just an honor to talk to you and learn so much about you and everything that you've been through, and hope to meet you someday in Boston, or if I'm in California, you can just have it.
Yeah, you should reach out if you're in California.
Yeah, I definitely will. I'll definitely stay in touch. I'll put the interview on YouTube next week, and I edit, so you can see, and I'll definitely stay in touch. This is wonderful. Just good to meet you, Nicole, and learn some more, talk to you, learn so much about you on my show, and please, stay in touch. I'll do the same, and help each other,
This was wonderful. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate the opportunity. And I think your show is great. So kudos to you. Yeah, for building such a wonderful show. Yeah, the vibe is so positive and so welcoming and warm. So good for you. Yeah, I think this is amazing.
Thank you so much. If you have any friends want to come on the show, please send them my way.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, I will.
Thank you. That's a blessing. Okay, and I'll stay in touch. Hope we'll talk again soon. I appreciate it.
I would love that.
So I'll be in touch. I promise you. Okay. It's so good to meet you. I love you. So take care and God bless you.
Okay. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.